junker red ved juletid.
Ching chang ching lutilej.
Omkring ham dannede sneen hvid.
Ching chang ching lutilej.
Welcome to the topic of the episode shows. We call it TOTES.
Exactly.
Every single this week, the thing that you do, that I do, that we do, is talk about the topics that we told you to talk about.
Yeah. Good intro, Patrick. So I'm gonna let's be real for a second.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how this episode came about. So in a lot of games, particularly Souls games, you can see you can see where someone else died.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that can be an indicator to you of areas to avoid, things to be cautious about. You know, if you see a lot of those around, you're like, there's probably something pretty scary around here. So my wife Courtney noticed that that's what the signs at the sides of highways are. Those are soul echoes.
The signs.
Yeah, whenever you see like a cross, that is a literal representation of the Dark Souls. This is where somebody died.
It really is.
We don't get to raise them and fight them though.
We don't get to raise and fight them. We don't get to watch and see what happened.
I wouldn't. Wow, no.
In Souls, you can do that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but no.
I'm not saying that I want to do it. I'm just saying these are differences.
I don't know. It kind of sounded like it. Sound off in the comments if you thought it sounded like Patrick wanted to watch people die.
Okay.
Anyway, so that was how this topic came about, and I will never look at roadside crosses the same way again. Like every time I see that, and it is kind of a cautionary tale. Don't drink and drive most of the time.
Sure.
But yeah, that was a really weird moment for me when video games kind of came out.
But death in video games obviously that's the topic of the week this week that we asked you to tell us about, what you think about, is death in video games. Death in video games has been a thing since the beginning of video games, if you don't count Pong. I mean, Pitfall had it. Everything's had this.
Well, at the very beginning, I feel like... because at the very beginning, video games were in arcades primarily.
Yes.
And so they were designed to be quarter suckers.
Yeah.
That's why you have a finite number of continues on console games. There's really not a reason for that. Like, just give us some more lives, maybe? Like, that does kind of make sense, but we've moved away from that as we've moved away from arcades. And I think that it has been a positive thing for the system.
Yeah.
Most of the comments we got were regarding being able to come back in quick.
Yes.
Owen said that Naughty Dog games have always been on point about quick load times when you're in the middle of a level, being able to get back into the game quickly without too much of a detriment.
Yeah.
There's a delicate balance there, because if it auto saves too often, then you can like run through a batch of difficult enemies to get to the next checkpoint and just skip sections of the game entirely.
Exactly.
That's not good. But at the same time, you don't want to, like I did this week with Final Fantasy VI. I went through the opera, forgot to save after the opera house, went and got hit by 2 sandstorms and a bone before I had a chance to take a turn or run away, and so my party was annihilated and I got kicked back a full hour.
Yeah, you gotta play the opera.
Which wasn't common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opera's good and everything, but it's frustrating.
But I've also played the opera like 15 times probably.
Yeah.
No exaggeration.
I think that it's important, no matter if it's autosave or however it is, that the way that it balances out is it not only gets you back into action, but it doesn't get you back at even where you just were. So one of the things that I just did in Neo was a level, not to spoil anything in Neo, it was kind of a horde mode kind of level.
Okay.
Where I died, and when I respawned, I had to go back, but I didn't have to play every wave again. I started at the wave that I died at. Now I didn't start at the enemy that I died to, which was the end of the wave.
Right.
But I started at the beginning of the wave. And a game like Neo is hard enough that just doing that, it took me 3 or 4 tries to get through that wave, even though I was starting fresh.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. There was a PC strategy game, and I'm sorry, I can't come up with it right now, but I'll just use this as an example of something similar to that done poorly.
Yeah.
It was a game where you would build resources and improve your surroundings and everything. So it would start me on that wave, but without any of the things that I had built over previous waves to support. And so if you got to wave, I think it was 6, you could not win because you didn't have the first 5 waves to build up. Yeah. And so it is a very tricky thing to balance these two. Yeah. And I think you also need to consider the difficulty of the game and individual tasks, because one of the ones that we've praised repeatedly is Super Meat Boy. Yes. Because that game is hard as crap. But you're never going to lose more than a minute or 2 of gameplay, because every time you die, you have to get past, X number of obstacles. Yeah. But you're right back in the game.
You're right back in the game, and the levels aren't crazy long. Like you said, you haven't lost that much. I think that the best way that death can be incorporated into a game is not only is it smooth, but if it can be integrated into the story or into the architecture of the game,
or if you get to watch yourself die 700 times when you beat a Meat Boy level.
One of my favorite ways for death to be handled in a video game is the Assassin's Creed series, because if you are in the Animus, you're playing your ancestors' memories, and when you die, it's basically saying, "Whoa, you lost sync. Let's go back. Let's try it again and get it right. And get it right historically." So it's a great way to build in the fact that you have to redo this, right? And not just being self-aware.
And everything happens the same way again, and all that kind of stuff. That's actually very similar to a Gearbox game, Borderlands. Yeah. Whenever you get to a new save point, you're injecting your DNA into it, and it's creating a copy and charging you for it. Yes. So there is a bit of a financial reason for you not to die. But yeah, I really like that one because it respawns you at your last save checkpoint. It causes you a bit of financial impact, and then it makes fun of you. Yeah, and that's the best part.
My other thing that I like, not only does it make fun of you, but it's forgiving enough that you can keep dying, and it takes out a percentage of your money. So instead of it being to the point where I've gotten a game over, or whatever you want to call it, or getting to the point where you literally have 0 money. Yeah, it's taking out a percentage, so it can really suck, but it's not that bad. And making death in a game more understandable and more encouraging, I think is really important.
Well, that's also a good economic strategy, and like you were talking about, integrating death into the other systems, because that encourages you to spend money, to experiment with different tools and weapons and things like that, and that's just really helpful. Yeah.
Let's say Chris had a little comment in here, trying to.
He said that he really appreciated. I read these comments. He really appreciated both the death animations of Playdead games and the fact that it puts you really close to where you died, which works really well in particular for Limbo and Inside, because those are very linear games, but you're meant to experience each thing once, and the impact of the giant spider coming up from behind is greatly lessened the second time you see it. Yes. And so this allows you to continue moving forward, to continue having new experiences, and to see something fresh, which is really helpful in their style of video games.
Yeah. It's really good stuff. I love it.
Yeah. So I feel like death and failure states are an important part of video games, and I think that it's something that's sometimes undervalued by some developers, but there are definitely developers who get it right. Yeah.
So let's just try again, okay, whatever. But you have something like Dark Souls where you have a reason as to why you are trying again, because you've kind of been unattached from that cycle.
And it has like, here's your finish line. Yeah. You can get back here. So we like them.
It's good stuff. So let us know in the comments what some of your favorite things in gaming in regards to death are, and some of your favorite games that dealt with death in an interesting way.
Indeed.
Talk to you guys later.